Just like many of you, my whole entire life I've been living against the odds. More than ever in my life, I am focused, serving hope to the hopeless, while living against the odds. I'm from the mud, the dirt of society, and that created this driving me to help the whole world that's living against the odds. I know some of you are struggling and probably pissed at God. I was too, but I realized nothing happened to me, it happened for me. Here to tell the story of everyone that's living against the odds. My parents did the best they could, but I felt like I wasn't loved in my childhood. Made bad decisions which paved the way, but I had to go through it to grow through it so I can serve the world today. Suffered anxiety and drug abuse, mentally not right, a couple screws were loose and still are, but I learned how to handle it. Realized I'll never get rid of it, so I had to channel it for good. I'll always be an addict, but now I am addicted to all this hope I give to you. Yo, I'm living proof that if you change your mind, you can change your life. Rest in peace to the old me, cause he had to die. I am redeemed, sober, recovered, clean. I ain't give it up, just had to switch it up the way I fiend. Now I fiend for the opposite on a positive level, against the odds. More than ever in my life, I am focused, serving hope to the hope.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Saturday Night Live, full effect. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everybody doing this evening? Hopefully everybody's having a great evening. I want to say good morning. Y'all know I do, but I'm not gonna. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, everyone. What's up, Cynthia? What's up, Davin? What's up, Bill? What's up, y'all? We're here. We're here to spread some hope. Tonight, we have a very special guest here backstage. We have Kaylee Paulson here. She's going to be sharing her experience, strength, and hope. Kaylee has went through the ringer, y'all. She really has. She is a miracle. She is a walking, talking, breathing miracle, just like many of you guys and gals out there. But tonight, she is here to share her hope and her experience, what happened, and what it's like today. Man, I'm excited to hear her story. I'm gonna bring her up so she can say hello to everybody.
Hey everybody. So excited to be here and so excited for everyone to hear my story tonight.
Yeah.
Saturday night, some sober talk. So I guess I'll just kind of get into things here. Home life for me really wasn't that bad. Growing up, I had it pretty good. My parents, I had a adopted dad who adopted me from birth, and then a biological dad. So that made things a little difficult. But other than that, very well cared for. Did vacations. Family members never had like past issues with drugs or using or anything like that. So yeah, right about middle school, started doing, smoking pot, and really kind of just like took off right from there. Started doing harder drugs from that, like cocaine, ecstasy. Started getting into more hippie things like acid and mushrooms, kind of leading up to high school there. And at this time, my parents had become aware of my drug use and had seek help. They had brought me down to Fairview to get interviewed and stay there a couple times, So started off treatments like pretty young, right off the bat there.
How old were you?
I think the first like outpatient I went to was probably 14, so really young. And then I think the first inpatient I went to was 15. So yeah, I mean, it started out pretty early for me there, and by high school, it just got worse. Started doing Oxycontin, and as soon as those started becoming less available, that just led to me doing lots and lots of heroin and lots of meth, and that took off really quickly. I dropped out of school basically to do that. I did online school for 2 years so I could do drugs, and just led down a really dangerous path. I started shooting up meth and heroin when I was 17 years old. And I just was like, and I loved it. I mean, like, I loved every second of it. And I never really thought it was going to get better. And, I really didn't start hating it till a few years later down the road. It's drug addiction. It's so crazy because I look back at it now and I'm like, how did I ever like it so much, right? But so I started doing that, shooting up and using heroin and all that around the 17. And that just think, I don't know, a senior year of high school, a couple days before school started, and my mom's house got raided. So I spent all of senior year locked up. Tried to get clean after that. I was supposed to go to Canada, right? My family was gonna take care of me, and I was supposed to use that advantage. Didn't want to at the time. Wanted to when I was locked up, but then didn't want to when I wasn't locked up. It was a very confusing time. So right when that 18 happened, and I didn't go to Canada where my family was once I got out. My family started looking into other options, and that's where my civil commitment came into play. I don't know if everyone knows what a civil commitment is because there's only so many states that do it, but a civil commitment is where the state basically comes in and says, you're too dangerous to yourself and others with your drug use. So they basically take away all your rights and decisions. And that was probably the worst time of my drug use. I think that's probably when my drug use got the most out of control. Some of my mug shots from that time are probably faces of meth, worthy, top star winners. It was really a bad time in my life. And I didn't care that I looked like that. And I didn't care that I lived like that. And it was just like that for a really long time. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of that for 40 something times. I go to prison, don't get it, I'm not getting it. You want to get it and you just don't. And so that really just makes it difficult. And then just started doing something different. I just started praying to God when I was using. I just was pray to him when I was really fucked up. I just asked him to help me and to help me out this mess because I couldn't do it. And I know that sounds so cliche, but that's just really what did it for me. And I just walked out the trap house one morning at 6 a.m., got on a bus, and I went to detox. And that was just it. That was just it for me. I just was so done. And then God blessed me with my son 2 weeks later. And I think he knew that I would hold on for that. I would be able to stay sober enough for my son for that. So I feel very blessed with my life now. And I really try not to look so much on my past and not think about my past so much because it's really just a lot of chaos and destruction and sadness. And I've just come a long way from there. And I just feel so empowered now. In the last 2.5 years, I have bought a house. I have a nice job. I have a car. I've really built things up for myself. And I just want people to know, if I can do that, if I can build myself up from where I was, and I know a lot of people know me from where I was and know how I was, and I just know that you can do it. People who are struggling today, they can do it. They just need to find their way. And that way is honestly through God. I don't know if you look around, you see the people who are in recovery now, and if they're living their life and if they're happy with their life, the one common thing with that is God. And I just feel like He saved me. And I feel that's just what people need to, they just need to lean on Him during those times, even when it just, it doesn't feel like you should lean on Him when you're smoking dope or doing dope, but that's when he wants you to lean on Him. And I think back about all those 9 years that I ever talked on God when I was using. Did I ever do that? No, I only called on Him when I was locked up or when things were really bad or I really hated my life. But did I ever call on Him when I'm using and things aren't that bad and stuff? And the one time I did, that the one time I did, I feel like he changed my life. I just feel like he really came in and was like, okay, you really don't want to do this anymore, even though your mind is so trained to doing it. And he just helped me. I don't know. He just helped me. And now today I have a beautiful son. I mean, like, life's not like cakes and, flowers and rainbows all the time. I mean, like, I went through a breakup with my son's father. That was hard to deal with. I've had to deal with some job issues with COVID, trying to find places to live with the separation and stuff, So, I mean, like, there's definitely been some struggles and trials along the way, but I just try to stay consistent with going to church, and I try to stay consistent with my home meeting that I go to. And, my sponsor that I work with, she's not like a typical NA or AA sponsor, but she's someone who I look up to, and she's someone who wants to help people in recovery. And she's someone who just is a God-loving woman, and she works with the courts, and I just love her. And, we have built this mom's recovery meeting that we do, and we do that a couple times a month. We meet with those ladies who are in recovery, and we have our children. They meet together, and that's like a fun way for us to have fellowship now and give back. And that's what I think is most important about recovery and rebuilding your life. You really just got to find new things that replace that thrill and that happiness. You really got to find some drives to you. I work in sales now. I like selling things to people. So I like working with sales. I like that. I'm getting the sales and stuff, so that gives me drive. I like taking my son places. I like seeing him have fun. I like seeing him live his life. That gives me drive, doing things for my mom's group and stuff. We're meeting with my ladies, going to get my nails done. That gives me drive. And I just think, yeah, I mean, it's just really important to find things to replace your time with, and things that give you meaning that you didn't have before,
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I don't know. I feel like I really know what else to say.
There ain't no one else. Well, I think we are having some echoing. I'm not real sure. When I speak, I think I'm echoing into yours. So when I speak, I'm gonna put your mic on mute just so I don't echo. But if I'm not echoing, please, you guys understand that are watching to comment. And if it sounds good, then I won't mute the mic. If I'm not echoing, because I'm not hearing it now. So I'm just going to keep rolling with it until someone tells me that I'm echoing. But I definitely can relate with a lot, everything you said, especially with sales, and especially with having that drive and crying out to God, crying out to God, crying out to God, crying out to God. It's common, isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, it's common that we cry out to God when we are completely broken. And this is a gift. This is a gift from God. It's called the gift of desperation. And it's when we feel hopeless and there's just no way out. And there's only one person to cry to. And I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of the same thing you're guilty of. And probably more people on here than we know that for the foxhole prayers. I mean, how many times did God get me out of jail? I mean, you got a lot of mugshots. So you're on the, you might even have more than me. And that's a lot of mugshots. And I got a lot of mugshots. I got 30 of them in Washington County. And I got more than that. And then I got some, in Dakota and all these. But I've seen a couple of yours, and you're right. You're right. It don't look nothing like you. The devil had you down bad. He definitely had you down bad. And we went hard for the devil, didn't we?
Absolutely. We went super hard for the devil for a really long time. Super loyal, would do anything, would promise my parents something to their face and sneak out the next day, Just like
I heard you.
I
heard you say that. I heard you say in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. I didn't want to do it, but I just kept doing it. We relate. So we can relate with each other like that, like no one else can, because there's other people out there tonight that are probably listening that know that feeling too, that know that feeling, that feeling that, hey, I don't like doing this, but I keep fucking doing it. Something's wrong with me.
Yeah, right. I'm never gonna get this, or it's never gonna get figured out, or why even try anymore?
Exactly. If any of our followers or anybody watching tonight has not, please do me a favor. If you have not shared this live on your feed, do me a favor and share this live on your feed. Share this live in your recovery groups. Share this live in wherever you want. We want to spread hope to people that need to hear it. We want this message to get out to the still suffering. We want someone to scroll across here and get some hope tonight, if possible. So we want to get this shared out so people can see it, that, are still suffering and still hurting, feeling hopeless. Because I'm going to tell you, we're talking about a solution tonight. We ain't sitting here talking about the mess. We're talking about the solution. So do me a favor. Let's share this out, and we're going to talk more about Kaylee and her solution in life, because she's got a lot going on. She really does. She has a lot going on in recovery. She's been sober for 2.5 years. We went through her backstory already, and now we're talking about what God's doing in her life today. Like, for real, we're talking about what God's doing in this young woman's life who has overcame death. Right?
So many times.
Many times.
I guess I just feel like I kind of went some fast with them things, but
keep talking.
I had endocarditis. I hooked up for 6 weeks. My heart was infected because of shooting up. They almost had to cut off my finger one time because my hand was all infected. I don't even know, probably like 4 overdoses. I don't even know how I'm here. I really don't. And I don't even know how God has healed me from some of the things that I've done to myself, because honestly, it's crazy. It's crazy. And everyone that I've talked to and shown, some things, they're like, oh my gosh, And I'm not just saying that. I'm not just, and I'm not just trying to push God, it's like, have your thing, have that vibe, have that something that gives you that motive, that drive, and you just know it has power over you, If that's not God for you, that's okay. But that was God for me, and it really just worked. It just really worked. And I look at the people now who have long-term sobriety and are happy, and the common thing is God. The common thing is God, and He is so merciful, and He just loves. He just loves everyone, guys. He really does, and He just wants us all to make it through this next stage. And I'm hurt, man. These last 2.5 years, my sober day is May 25th on 2019, and since then, I've lost more friends than I have this entire time. It has been sad. I'm going to funeral after funeral after funeral, and I just want my friends to know, it's really like life or death, and not just my friends, just everyone who's still struggling. You guys, it's really like choose life or choose death. And I want y'all to choose life. I want y'all to choose happiness and choose to come back home to your families and be happy, because you can really create anything you want after you get sober. Once you get that foundation, and know that first year sucks, super sucks. You're gonna have to really build it up. You're probably gonna have to work that minimum wage job, crappy jobs, your record or whatever, don't have a car, so you gotta take the bus. Things are not gonna be easy, but in the long run, you're gonna start building back your life. And once you start building back your life, you're gonna start building back your happiness and just your drive for doing things. And you're gonna find things that you like to do. You're gonna find things that make you happy and just give you purpose in your life. And that's what I really think it's all about.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Did you hear me echoing?
I didn't hear you echoing.
Okay,
no.
Good. I'm hearing
it.
I'm hearing it. But as long as
are they saying they're hearing it or no?
I haven't heard anyone say anything to me.
Okay.
I'm just hearing it on my end. It's all good. I worry about the sound, because if the sound is not that, if I'm echoing, I want you to keep talking, because this is if I'm echoing, they got to tell me they heard it. Am I echoing now? It says they say you echo occasionally. That's cool. I love how they participate.
Yes.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you to Robert.
Yes,
Jeff.
appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks.
And appreciate your patience with my new technique here, trying to figure this out.
You got this.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job. You're killing it. I'm gonna be honest with you. You're killing it. That's why if I'm echoing, I don't want to mess what you got going on up, because you are killing it. God is working. God's speaking. God is here tonight, y'all. God is here tonight. You know that. When two or more are gathered, what does he say? He's here. He's here tonight.
Here.
Yeah. We know this. We have way more than two or more that have gathered here to talk about Kaylee and her testimony of hope. I mean, we're talking about someone that has came from the darkness and now lives in the light. This is why we're on here on a Saturday night celebrating her life, because we know we don't all make it. And shout out to anyone that knows anyone that lost a life to this darkness, or anyone lately. I know that there's been some stuff going on, and I want to just tell everybody, prayers for the still suffering for sure, because it's like Kaylee said, it's life or death. It's no joke. It's no joke.
Yeah. And I mean, like when I was living like that, I mean, for me, I was not out there trying to, like, I didn't feel like I wanted to die. So, I feel like, man, but then I look at myself and my actions where I was looking like I wanted to die, and you just kind of have to be like, look at it now. Things are dangerous. This is not saying even anything what it was before. And, the time is now. Like, you see so many people now coming together in recovery. I mean, I'm so grateful for the people I do have that we use together, and now we band together in recovery, and that, that's so awesome. And, anyone can join us. Anyone can join us. Anyone can band up with us and be changing your life and be doing things different. And you're going to be happy you did. You definitely will.
That's right.
It's just good stuff, man. Sobriety's been good. It's been treating me super well. I mean, like I said, it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows, but for the majority of part, it definitely has. Like, my life is so much more peaceful now. I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like so much calmness in me, and I'm just genuinely happy. Like, I'm not miserable. I'm not like, oh my God, why am I awake? Why am I sick? Why is this happening? It's just, I have answers now. I have guidance now. I have a path now. And that brings you so much peace, y'all. It really does when you have that. And just know that anyone can get there. You just got to keep with it. And keep with God. Just keep with something. Keep with something that gives you hope, gives you that drive.
That's right. Shout out to Linda. Shout out to Linda for she's got 7 days sober today. She's so grateful. She hopped on. I wanted to let you know. Yeah. Congratulations to you, Linda.
You are on your way up, Linda. This is the start. The 7
1 day at a time.
Yes.
1 day at a time. It's important to remember that, because it's easy for me to forget 1 day at a time. I was fortunate enough to not have to take a drink or anything like that since October 15th of 2010. But I still need to remind myself it's 1 day at a time. It's 1 day at a time. It don't matter. That stuff don't matter. It really doesn't. What matters is when we have each and every day in recovery, when we practice recovery principles in those days instead of like we used to do. I don't know about you, but every time I wanted to change, I would cry out to God, but I never wanted to do anything. I never wanted to actually physically go to meeting. I didn't want to go to church. I didn't want to hook up with a sponsor. I didn't want to be honest with myself. And what happened was I always fell on my face, because God doesn't do for us what we can do for ourselves. he does for us exactly what we can't do for ourselves, but we got to put in some work too.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, you absolutely have to like make the moves. You can't just sit in the trap house and say, God, like help me. You have to make that move to get on the bus and get to help, and you need the help, it's hard to do just fresh out. You're just gonna go somewhere and get better. I mean, you gotta look for that next step. I mean, for me, I went to Park Avenue. Yeah, I got sober at Park Avenue. I went there for 6 weeks. And then I did 6 weeks outpatient one time a week, and that's where I got sober at. After 3 times at Hazelden, after 40 other treatments, I made it at
You was
Park
down
Avenue.
on Park Ave?
Yeah, so just know you can make it happen anywhere.
That's right.
It's just where you gotta make it happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. She's exactly right. Man, I was over on Park Avenue during I sobered up in the joint, but I was in a halfway house off Park Avenue. I do some volunteer work there still. Shout out to Lifer Builders. Great program and a great ministry. Love that place. Yeah, but Park Avenue, you're right. It don't matter where. God meets us wherever we are. You're right here, right now, tonight. We're on a live. God speaking to your heart. Man, God speak to you anywhere. God will show up anywhere. God will show up in your phone, y'all. Do you think I'm playing? God will show up in your phone. You never know who he's going to put in front of you, where he's going to put in front of you. There's hope out there. There is tons of hope out there. Kaylee's letting us know there's hope out there.
Lots of hope.
She's testifying tonight. She's already given. I love it because we got plenty of time left. We do. We got a ton of time. We're hanging out. There's people on here. We're throwing up comments. We got somebody else with some. Nick has 14 days. Keep going. Tamara brought that up.
So awesome.
Yeah, we're going to get some stuff out here. People are going to be celebrating their recovery on here. People are throwing their hands up. Man, they have fun on the lives. You see it? Can you see that?
I can see some of them. Yep, some of the ones that you're talking about. I can't see all of them, though.
Nope. Mm-mm. But I think your friend can.
Okay, so I see this one. It says you have to want to make a change. I agree with that, but I feel like there's a lot of times where I wanted to make a change and I just couldn't. Like, just could not. Like, I really felt like I wanted to, but then it just when it came, and then I didn't want it, And I don't know what it took to get to that point. Because like I said, I went through a lot. But what I can remember is that last run I had, I did a lot of praying to God. Not when I needed help, not when I was in desperate or things were terrible, but just when I was running around, and I was doing okay. And I just was like, I hate this. Like, I don't want to live like this, even though I was still living like it and still doing it, So I feel like it's a fine line, because there was definitely a time where I super wanted it, and then I didn't get it, and then I went into a stage of I'm not getting it, so why even try, and it took a long time to even be pulled out from that, and that just took lots of, just treatment and care from family and stuff, trying to get that like will and desire back. And I mean, that's why I believe God like blessed me with my son. I mean, and now, and I do it for both of us, absolutely. But that's what really helped me on there in the beginning. I had a lot more drive to stay sober than ever when I found out I was pregnant, because I wanted to be a good mom for my son. I definitely didn't want my son to be taken away. So that definitely gave me that drive.
That's
Didn't
right.
you say you told me that you had something like that with your kids? Didn't someone, but when you got out or anything?
I don't know.
No, okay, sorry.
But I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I didn't forget. Just so y'all know, I didn't forget. I know what I was gonna say. Listen, the thing is when I first got into recovery, when I walked out of the joint, right? I was very selfish in my decisions to protect my recovery. I blocked certain people on Facebook. I did it for myself. But what happens when we get a few days behind us, right? One day at a time, we start to work on ourselves. God removes the desire from us. We start to serve others, and we start to develop a purpose. And a lot of the purpose is, putting others before ourselves. So then what happens is, we start to make decisions based on our children, our family, instead of making decisions based on self, which that's what we did every time we were in and out of the prisons. And, we wanted to change. I wanted to change too. I really did, deep in my heart. That's how hopeless I was, because I was like, man, I really want to change, but I just can't do it. Like, I get out and I just go back. But it wasn't because I didn't want to change. It was because I didn't know that I had to actually do the work. Like, I was lazy. Like, I was like, oh, God's going to change me. I didn't know that I actually had to physically work on myself and get out of my comfort zone and try new things. You know what I mean? Because obviously we're so used to doing drugs and,
or wanting that fast result. I think that was like it a lot for me. Like, things weren't moving fast enough. I wasn't seeing things coming back to normal fast enough. If anything, I felt like things were stalling or getting worse, So
because they're slower.
This is not working.
Yeah, and that's what happens. I mean, this is good information, because it's true. It's what happens. So what happens is I get out and I'm in recovery or whatever, and I want things to happen on my time. And I'm waiting on these results, and I'm not doing any of the work. I'm like going to the gym and just sitting there watching everybody else work out while I look around, and I'm like, where's my results? How come my abs don't look like his abs? How come my arms don't look like his arms? It was because I was missing the whole shebang. I wasn't doing the work.
Yeah, well, and everyone's pace is going to be different. You know what I mean? You're going to see things happen differently from other people's, and you just got to know that, things are moving forward, and they're moving forward with time. And eventually, you're going to be in a spot where you're completely happy. I mean, and I can honestly say now, there's very few times that I feel like using. Like, that now is like such a disconnect from me, where when I even think about it, I'm like, oh my God, like, seriously, like, oh my God, like, how did that even happen? I just feel like I'm like a totally different person now, and like super happy with it. Super happy with the person I am now, and just how I feel now, and just what I'm doing now. And it just feels really good to be living.
I want to tell everybody how you're even on this broadcast tonight. I definitely think it's a God thing. I know it's a God thing.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely think so too. Yeah, because we just connected on Facebook, and
the hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, I like that hoodie, and I was like, cool, I got you on the hoodie. And then you told me, you were like, hey, I just like showing people. What'd you say? You said, I just like to show people in recovery that anything is possible. And I was like, well, I'll be damned. Let me just talk to you for a little bit. And you were this. I mean, we just met this week.
Yeah, this week.
And this is how fast we can make that connection. You're on here sharing your hope, and we're on a platform, and I'm telling you, somebody out there is getting this message tonight, because you got a powerful story. You're a miracle. Your story. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. IV users take a risk every time that they go back. They take a deadly risk. I mean, even not IV users, but you know what I'm saying. It's more deadly doing that.
Oh yeah, it's Russian roulette.
But with today, fentanyl. So fentanyl and pills are just as bad. But you should be dead. Let's just keep it real. You should be dead. For sure. I should be dead too. But I mean, you should be dead too.
Yeah.
And we know why you're here.
Yes. I definitely feel like I'm here to just let people know, yeah, like you can recover, man. You can recover, and it can be super bad and super terrible, and God in your recovery will work wonders in your life, and it's just an amazing thing. I mean, and now, just I don't know, just feel so happy with my life now. I just don't know what else to say about my recovery and my overwhelming happiness and just like my purpose.
Let's talk about what you got going on, because I want to help you get that out there.
Oh, yes.
We're not done yet, but I want to put that out there, and I'm gonna put it in the comments for them if once we talk about that. So
yeah. So yeah, I decided to like enter this little thing. So after I got sober, I started getting like a lot of tattoos. One of them being like Alice in Wonderland tattoo. Just kind of, because I felt like I fell down the rabbit hole and I came back. So I entered this ink magazine contest and been doing pretty well with it. And yeah, I mean, my whole like point with it is just I just want to let people know that like you can really do anything you're setting your mind to, and really like to help people. If I did win with some sober housing in the areas, and it would really mean a lot if you could just drop that vote. You can vote for free every day. But yeah, that's something I'm doing fun for myself. Just kind of that's just like goal of mine. I just feel like that would be fun, and why not promote that? Like, hey, I'm in recovery too, and like, look what happened with my life. Just and I just feel like people can take that, and I really hope people can take that and look at that and blossom with their own lives and blossom into their own purpose and their will. And I just want to see more people recover, especially people that I had used with and growing up with and such.
absolutely. I posted the link. So I posted the link in the comments. So you can go vote for her to support her and her mission to win the cover of Inked magazine, and she's in first place right now, right? Correct?
Yes, I'm in first place. I've been holding that first place. It's a long competition, but yeah, it goes on to the middle of March, and got to hold that first place all the way till middle of February here to get into the final round. So, hoping to continue to do that. Feeling pretty confident with it, so, and getting a lot of love and support, especially with with the recovery piece. Yeah, been good.
Absolutely. We got some stuff going on in the comments right now. I'm just checking it out. We got some people helping some people, so you know that. So there's some people out there that have reached out, and they said we need help too, and we have some people in the comments right now getting them links and trying to get this person some resources to get help, and they're not even in this state. So
and anyone else who feels like they need help, like please reach out. We will connect you with the places you need to be. Even if you're not from the state, we'll do our best. We'll be that hand that you need if you don't feel like you could talk to anyone else about it. Because yes, the time is now. The time is now to get out and to get back to your lives and to be happy and to be with people who love you and people who are going to love you, and God who's going to love you and lead your way through that.
That's right. It won't let you go onto the site. It'll let you. Which one? You might not be able to go on it because we're live or something. Casey, hey, I wanna let you know I see you, Casey. I see you, Casey. Hey, I see you, brother. So you might not be able to go and click the link while we're live. So you might have to hop out of the live and go click and go on to the SAMHSA website. Definitely go check that website out. That's a website that has great resources and great tools. They will be able to find available beds in your area. It is a tool that I have on the website attached to this page. It is definitely a link that I have that will be on the contact page. So when you can't get a hold of anyone, you get a hold of them, because they are very, very much a great resource and one of the biggest resources, and have national things that can help. So Here comes some more. Somebody else is throwing that link on there too. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Throw that link on there. Give her some votes, y'all. Y'all, we got to support recovery. We got to support recovery and people that go out of their comfort zone and try new shit. I mean, straight up, y'all.
Yes, try new things in your recovery. You know, go to that softball league, do that bowling thing. Because I'm telling you, those things are fun. They might not be fun at first, but eventually those things become fun, and you start getting, you know, because you really got to reconnect all that. You know, you got to connect all that happiness, all the things that gives you pleasure, and it definitely takes time for that to come back. And you just have to try to be patient, and just try to push through that. You know.
Yep. Absolutely, it does take time. That's what it takes time. It takes time. That's something that we definitely understand, that it takes time, and it's one day at a time. Because of that reason, it takes time. But if we just focus on running a marathon instead of running sprints like we normally do, we want to get past everybody, right? We want to beat everybody to the rat race or the finish line or whatever we're doing. We want to be the best, the fastest. Sometimes we got to slow down and relearn and unlearn some of them old techniques that we know, right? And we need to relearn things. And that's where recovery and working the program comes in, because then we can lay bricks on a new foundation, one at a time, one day at a time. You know, we can start to build some integrity here. We can get a little bit of honesty over here. We can start to be selfless over here. And it doesn't happen overnight.
No,
it doesn't. It just don't. I hope that that brother got into that link. That link is good. There's also a hotline too. There's a number that you can call. So it is a good link. How do we got some questions. Let's get them. How do we help those we love even when they don't admit or want it? Prayer.
Yeah, and definitely don't enable as much as you can. You gotta do that. You gotta do that tough love, because I feel like that definitely pushed me closer, trying to be more resourceful with things. You know, when you don't have a loved one, you know, enabling you like that, because it can definitely do more harm than good. So, you know, just like, let's set a clear boundary with them. Like, no, I feel like this is really a problem. I would really like to go get some help. If you don't, I'm going to have to start doing these things for myself. And that's just, you know, you just have to do that. You just have to set that clear boundary, and you just have to, you know, you kind of have to be okay with that, and just wait for them to turn on their own. And, you know, that could take time too, you know.
Some of the things that we can do is we can, you know, we can spread hope. We can live by example. Ultimately, we have to set boundaries with people, especially when they don't see it. So we have to set boundaries that maybe they'll see it if they experience some consequence or things like that. And guess what? That's not guaranteed to work either. And that's why I say prayer is really important. It's tough. It's tough because we see someone else struggling, and what's tough is, you know, we want to go and save them. We're responsible for the effort. God's responsible for the outcome. Sometimes we have to get out of God's way, because what happens is we start to enable people. It's not necessarily the case when someone's in denial, but it's a good what Kaylee had said about setting that boundary, and that could bring up the conversation. You can definitely holler at me, send him some videos of me talking. Sometimes you just never know. You can send him some motivational stuff. Maybe one day he'll watch it. Or she. I don't know who we're referring to, but there's some things that we can do. But, you know, ultimately we have to we got to set boundaries too.
And I think one other thing is being like direct with what you're seeing. I feel like that's really important. You know, you see something, you see them acting weird, you see something going on, call them on it. Have that conversation. It can be a peaceful conversation of you acknowledging that. I feel like that breaks that barrier of them being in such denial. If you're constantly confronting them when you feel suspicious of something going on, them, you know, being
We got another question.
Mm-hmm. The tough love from my family push you to any depression. I will say that I don't think no tough love from my family did. I will say when I was civilly committed, that was the worst time of my life. I was super depressed and super did not care and super hated life. And yes, that was a decision made from by my family. And I think now they regret, they regret that, after they've seen that. But no, I don't think tough love pushed me into any kind of depression. But you just kind of have to be careful with that because their tough love pushed me to be more resourceful. And then I didn't need them anymore. And then I'm out there without them, without needing their help. And then that continues my using longer. So, it's a very slippery slope. If you got a teenager at home who's using or, a young kid, I don't suggest the tough love at all. I don't.
What if it's an adult?
If it's the adult, yeah, I suggest the tough love.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Adults can
Sometimes we just got to get out of God's way.
Yeah.
It's the truth. It's sad. It really is. It's sad because we see people hurting themselves and they don't see it. What's sad is I was that person and so was she at one point. That's what's sad is we were those people that people talked about. How in the do we get them? They're back doing this. They're back doing that. Today we have a different story and a different narrative. So it's a miracle that we're able to come on here and actually speak and answer questions for people that are concerned about people that they love, that are, probably harm, they're doing stuff that obviously people aren't very happy about.
Yeah. And, this is where they're going to find help from other people who have already gone through it, that they need to find that fellowship. Like I have that meeting with my mom's meeting, that's like my fellowship. I go there and connect with people who understand, and they're going to have to find that too. They just will.
Let's get a question up here. This is someone that reached out to me that knows you, I believe.
Now that you're in long-term sobriety, can you see how important it is to take ownership? Take ownership of my
your past.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's absolutely yes. No, it's imperative to take, look at your past and and I feel like it's imperative for me to tell my story and tell people, my way just because I feel from all the stuff that I've been through. I know that it was a lot and I just want people to know that there is help and, there is a way. You just got to keep looking for it. And like you were saying earlier, you need to put in the work for it too. It's not just, I want it, please help me. There's a lot of steps and work and change. You need to completely change the way you live, the way you think, who you hang out with. I don't hang out with none of my old friends anymore. Think I talk to them on Facebook or Messenger? No, I don't. And the people who still conversate with those old using friends are the people who end up, using down the road. You really got to make that line of, okay, is this person sober or is this person not? And if they're not, then you just can't be with them. You can't talk to them. And if you do talk to them, it needs to be about, getting them better, nothing else.
That's right. Got to do the work.
Got to do the work.
Got to do the work. If you're in recovery and you're struggling with stuff and you got some recovery and you're struggling, definitely go back and start doing the work. And if you haven't done the work, you got to revert back to the work. The work that I'm talking about the steps. I'm talking about the work. I'm talking about the work that gets us closer to God, because ultimately that's what it is. There's one step in there that talks about addiction, but the rest are getting us closer to God and teaching us a new way to live on life's terms, on how to handle situations and how to manage things. And one thing that happens is, and you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. Us that have done the work, and then we go out and we start our own businesses and we do things like that later down the road. We're very successful about it because we understand how to manage things and how to take inventory and how to get rid of old things that don't work and bring on things that do work. This is business mindset, right? So I believe a famous rapper named Rick Ross said this, and he said, if you can manage your life, that's the biggest business. Your life is the biggest business that you can manage. And he is an entrepreneur. And, you know, the bottom line is the steps teach us how to manage an unmanageable life with the principles that they teach us and who to rely on. Of course, we can't manage our lives when we're running on self, when we're running on Phil, running around trying to, step on the toes of his fellows, and everybody's retaliating because I'm just running around based on self. Everything that I'm doing when I'm full of self is for me to get a benefit. And that means I'm using people, and I don't live like that no more. So we don't do those things anymore. So we learn a different way. And sometimes those different ways just take time to learn and practice. We didn't get here overnight. Like, you didn't get to where you were hopeless and walking out of the trap house. You didn't get there overnight. That shit took time, and it's going to take time to get us out of that stuff too. And what's fun, we need to be reminded of that. I need to be reminded of that this don't happen overnight. I didn't get here yesterday. I got out of prison in 2011. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I didn't get here yesterday. Neither did you. No,
yeah, definitely did not get here yesterday. And it was a rocky start for sure. Lots of, undesirable things that I didn't like doing, but eventually I started liking to do things again. I started liking the life I was living, and it just became a lot happier.
So we have a question. We'll do this question and then we'll kind of wrap up. It says, so I believe this is a question asked for people in recovery. Do you believe relapse always happens? I'm going to let you answer it first.
I would say about 99.99% of the time it always happens. Yeah. I just feel like for me, I've just seen when you do realize, well, first you go through the denial, right? You don't know you have a problem, and then you realize you do have a problem, and then it's the change in the problem. I feel like, yeah, there's probably that one person who goes to treatment the one time and gets better, but that's not the normal.
Right. The statistics say otherwise, right? The statistics say that relapse does happen a hell of a lot. But it doesn't have to.
It doesn't get to be an excuse either. Like, exactly. It's supposed to happen. Like, this is part of it. Like, no, you don't get like 10 relapses here. It needs to be a valid effort of trying for it to not be treated as like an excuse.
Absolutely. I do not think relapse was not part of my recovery. When I went back to the old ways and the old things that I used to do, recovery was nowhere near me. The people in recovery were trying to get me to come back, and I was running from them. Literally running down the road. I had a guy hit me. I was in the back of a car, and he came up and he seen me, and he was in recovery, and I relapsed. And he chased me down, and I told that driver to go. Straight up. God bless him, though. God bless him, because he gave it. He cared. I remember that. He
Oh,
cared.
absolutely.
He
And
cared.
we need those people that
Mhm.
care. That's, I definitely have a lot of people that have cared for me throughout my addiction. And yeah, we definitely need those people who care and that we could talk to. You can love from a distance, but still be able to talk, and be there during those hard times. And I'm grateful that I always had someone to do that with. That was always very helpful for me.
That's right. Would you like to leave them with a message of hope or something so what we'll do now is you'll just kind of tell them a closing message and then I'll pull you behind the stage and then I'll close us out and then I'll come back and say goodbye to you and things like that. But
Okay.
we've been
I don't
going on
really
for
know.
about an hour.
Yes, I don't. A closing message. I don't really know a closing message. Give me some ideas.
I got you. I
Okay.
got you. So a closing message would be something important that we want to tell them, that how important it is to remain in their recovery program and to continue to work their program or to continue whatever you feel is the most important thing that you want to tell somebody. Like me, I would tell them, hey, if there's one thing that you can learn from me, is that anybody can change. Even if you've been to jail or prisons a million times, even when they tell you that you can't, even when you were strung out on IV drugs and heroin and meth, you still can change your life. When they told you that you wouldn't be able to change your life, you went and did it anyway.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Definitely got lots of doubts that I was never coming back from using. I guess I would just close off with if you're just starting your recovery journey, I would start with just trying to connect with God or that higher power. And that is what's worked for me. And that's what's been consistent for me. And that has been my step work. I more go to church consistently and, just read scripture. And that has helped me. And that might help you. And so
Yeah.
that is what I want to leave people with. And I really appreciate you having me come on here and talk to everyone and everyone listen. So thank you for everyone who popped on here tonight to listen to my story and hopefully see you guys one day soon.
We will.
Okay.
I'm
Bye.
gonna put you backstage and then I'm gonna tell everybody goodbye.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, I'll be back there in a second. Good evening, good evening, good evening. What an incredible story of hope, inspiration. Man, she's got a powerful story. She has a very powerful story. She definitely has overcame a lot, a lot. For a young woman like that to go through what she's been through and to be able to come on to this platform and share her story, her inspiration, her recovery. She is in recovery. She is doing her deal. She's got over 2.5 years of sobriety. She shared her hope with us. She's got some things going on. She's stepped out of her comfort zone and she's doing a contest for Inked magazine, a tattoo deal. The link is in the comments. You guys go support that for her. She definitely is doing the deal. She's got a hell of a testimony, and I want to thank her for coming on and being with us tonight and sharing her hope and her testimony and her encouragement. She definitely has a fire inside of her, and she is sharing her story, and she is very passionate about it. And I feel that she's gonna help a lot of people with her story and her hope. God is working through her on a daily basis, y'all. Thank you guys for coming on here. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for showing up. I missed you guys this morning. I'm going to be honest with you. To my morning crew, I missed you. I missed you this morning. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow morning. Okay? I'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll read some scripture tomorrow before church, and we'll go live and we'll do our daily deal I do appreciate each and every one of you for being on here, showing up, sharing this live, giving us engagement, putting us in the algorithm, helping us to reach hopeless accounts. There's people out there that their accounts behind them, they're struggling. They're struggling. We know because some of them hit the live tonight. We know because some of them hit the live tonight, didn't they? Some of you got to experience that firsthand of what we do on this page. We had some people reaching out. We even had Amanda. Amanda came and she's helping us out. Marlon was helping us out. I seen, man, Marlon's a rock for Against the Odds. I want to give a shout out to Marlon, man. Marlon, I love you. I love your family. I love everything about you, brother. Keep up the good work and keep up what you're doing, man. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you to Amanda for stepping up too, and anybody else that stepped up on them comments. Anybody else that stepped up on them comments when people were struggling, I want to thank you all. I can't see all the comments, so I can't give you a shout out if I didn't see your name. Those were the 2 names that I seen, and I do appreciate that because it shows. It shows that we care here and we're a family, right? Because that's what we are. We're a family here, and we do care. We do care, and we are a family. Thank you guys and gals for showing up and spending your Saturday night with your boy, Phil Tyler, on Against the Odds, and our girl, Kaylee, sharing her hope. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. Thank you for sharing this live. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for everything that you're doing for your recovery, because when you recover and you do it loudly, other people see it and they might follow suit. We're starting a movement here. We're starting a movement where we recover out loud and we stand up and we talk about our recovery. We're talking about community, not anonymity. We're talking about community, not anonymity. You guys and gals have a great night. Peace.
Just like many of you, my whole entire life I've been living against the odds. More than ever in my life I am focused, serving hope to the hopeless while living against the odds. I'm from the mud, the dirt of society, and that created this driving me